He says one, or he says 4 locals. Stop it, Tula. She's gonna get hurt one of these times. She's so stupid.
She started playing a little rough, so he started trying to get away and shit. Because he don't want it.
She's just dumb. Like obviously, I don't care how badass you think you are.
Now she's running.
Right. If Broly wants to get mad at you, he's going to hurt you.
Yeah. But he ain't really gonna never hurt her. He's just gonna let her know, hey.
I'm more worried about him rolling over his big ass and like breaking a leg or something.
Yeah.
On her.
Right. Yeah, I don't. You know.
Whatever.
I don't think that'll happen.
They're fucking dogs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But, I mean, I understand your concerns, but,
Right. I'm concerned financially.
Right.
That's my big concern. Like, what am I going to fucking do if that happens? And then, of course, she gets covered in fucking spit and then roll. Like, dude, she gets more baths than anyone in the house because she's just so gross. It's tough, though. Gotta give it to her.
Oh, yeah, she's going to be a tough dog.
Right. Putting her in his place, yeah. Okay. Broly. You got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah,
I tried to fucking...
She just stopped it and she came back at me.
Right, I tried to help her and she was like, yeah. Whatever. Later. Oh, fucking dumbass dogs. Oh, welcome to the Sunday morning mass hole. All of you non-Christians. You're gonna cry about what I'm doing. Why aren't you at church? Shouldn't your dumbass be giving money to your local pedophile organization? You know, because the church is full of fucking pedos and all that shit. These fucking dumbass Christians, man, they're just... It's like impressive how stupid. Like, you really have to... You can't just be accidentally that stupid. You can't just be, like, naturally that stupid. You have to really put in the effort to stupefy yourself to be a full-fledged Christian. Because it's like, again, you're talking about something that has zero evidential backing. What does exist tells you, like, this is just it's just a Jewish fairy tale. Like, what part do you not understand? You know? They don't even hide it. Like, it's not even some you know, you gotta be clever to figure it out. It's as obvious as it could be. I was reading something the other day talking about Paul and how Paul was a Jewish this, that, and like, it's everywhere. And it's clearly like supremacist, doesn't involve you. Like, it's just strange. Like, how can anybody be like willingly, you know, hey, though, you know, you can do your very, very best, but no matter what, that other group over there, well, they were born better than you. They are better than you. You know, they deserve favor and supremacy, and you're just a good Goyim. But don't worry, though. As long as you follow the rules, when you die, man, oh man, you get a mansion, and like, everything will be really fucking cool for you when you die. Never mind life, and whatever you do, don't speak out too much, especially with the affinity for pedophilia that the church has. Don't talk about that. I mean, look at the dumbass comments, right? Please stop saying things. Please stop. Not like, oh, you're wrong. This is actually the truth. Let me debunk what you're saying. Let me show you why a good Christian is the right way to go. Let me prove myself in any sort of way. No, that's not what happens. What happens is just straight up crybaby every fucking time. Stop saying those words I don't like. Those are cuss words. Stop saying cuss words. I know I'm an adult, but certain words are bad words. Other words are good words, but certain words are bad words. Like, you're fucking stupid, man. This is the guy that said he rebukes me. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You give me a rebuttal? Really? In the name of Jesus? Look at the fucking dumbass shit. I scrolled a live in on YouTube that had free Palestine protests in Ireland. Like, LOL, go live over there then if you want to free Palestine, LOL. Bunch of fucking idiots. So, do you live in Israel? And again, it's just so strange. Like, this is the opposition that I'm gonna get. They say dumb shit like, well, go live in Ireland. What about, there's a lot more free Palestine protests here. Can I just stay here then? If that's the thing? Fuck no, I don't live in Israel. So, aren't you an Israel supporter though? And by your logic, if you support someone, you live there, right? Because you're stupid, right? You're fucking stupid and you say dumb things. So let's be consistent in your stupidity. You know what's really truly crazy about Ireland, and I mean it's crazy to me how many people will deny that racism is such a big problem, right? People love to pretend like racism isn't. Give me. Racism isn't everywhere, when it absolutely, like, the Belfast stuff proves it to you. The Belfast stuff shows you exactly how racist white people in general are. And when you say these things, I'm not saying every single one. Obviously, that's crazy. But white people are very, very racist. And the whole Belfast situation proves it, shows it to you. What the fuck did I come in here for? Well, I guess I'll have to figure it out when it comes back to me. But it's really like scary, right? To see just how and stupid average white person is. The racism, they're just waiting to pop off with racism. Patriotism is not racism. No, it kind of is. I mean, it usually patriotism it disguises racism. And granted, if you're like patriotism, is the step before racism, because patriotism can be, you know, everybody from a place. And then once the common enemy or opponent is handled, patriotism falls and racism pops up. You know, we're all Irish until, you know, we have a reason, you know, until the bad guy isn't the British, the bad, you know, it's a domestic situation, then it's the whites versus. It's just what they do. Right? How is being proud of where you're from being proud of where you're from? What does that even mean? I'm proud of where I'm from. Well, first of all, you probably don't know the history of where you're from. Secondly, you're proud of the fact your parents had sex. You did literally nothing. You didn't earn this whatsoever. But you're proud of it. And the thing is, wherever you're from, the given narrative is that white people killed a bunch of people who lived there. Enslaved a bunch of, you know, especially anywhere where there is people of color. The narrative is always that white people, you know, use their racism, right? I'm a patriot for the Lord. I'm a patriot for Jesus. So stupid. So stupid. But notice how, again, even though they're stupid and they ask stupid questions, I still address it. And I still debunk whatever they're saying or thinking or whatever. They don't have it. They're trying to sort of lean into something, but as soon as it's addressed, they run away. They start saying dumb shit. I'm proud to be Canadian. It's by a bunch of ass-hat liberals. Ass-hat liberals, people that want liberties. Basically, again, this is how you know this is just a racist white person. What he's mad about is that white Christians aren't allowed to be the openly racist, homophobic, sexist pieces of shit that they are deep down. That's what, anytime somebody's talking about the liberals giving other people the same rights that I have, well, they don't like the same things I like, so why should they have the same rights I do? Just fucking stupid. I'm damn proud to be a Canadian. I like to picture my dad just hitting it real hard. And my mom's like, instead of coming in my face like you always do, instead of swallowing it, here, just come inside me. And he's like, you sure, baby? Yeah, fucking come inside me, Harold. That's what he's proud of. Good job. I'm glad you're proud of your parents fucking. You proud of your grandparents fucking too? Liberals stand at a pro-immigrant rally with a hands-off Social Security sign. What? What? I mean, it's just so stupid. It's like when these same fucking people go, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter. Whoa, what about the fucking school systems? And what about black on black crime? And what about this? And they're like, wait, Black Lives Matter was about police killing unarmed black men. Why are you bringing up all this other shit? It's just the same stupid, you know. It's just stupidity, racism, stupidity. Like, it's all, you know, I don't even know what you call it. Because it does sort of go beyond racism in that it's like white people sickness or some shit. But even though it's white people sickness, other groups have it. And that's as a result. Like, you can't, you know, black people in the United States can't be racist. Right? Mexicans can't be racist. And I know that always really upsets white people when you say that shit. Because they love to claim that they have it so bad. that they experience so much racism all the time from people of color, but there's no racism. Racism is the ability to affect the money that goes into the school systems and the police departments. And racism is a much bigger thing. Prejudice is absolutely everywhere. Black people can absolutely be prejudiced. Mexicans can be prejudiced. The thing is, most people of color prejudice is in response to white racism, right? And that's the thing. You want to eliminate the prejudice from other people, you have to stop the white racism. And it's that white racism that is just sick, right? It's just sick. Expert anti-Semitism, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Just coming up with random stats. These experts that he's bringing up. Yeah, okay, experts. They kill whites too, but we don't burn down cities. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just an insane amount of stupidity. Like, imagine with as crybaby as white people are for anything that doesn't benefit them, right? Again, if it means other people are getting the same rights that white people are, it really upsets them. And Belfast actually proves you completely wrong. Because what ends up happening in Belfast is a simple altercation takes place where a black person, a Sudanese man, defends himself with a knife. And because of that, now white people all over the country are burning down the cities, and civil unrest is because, the immigrant problem. It's an immigrant. Don't you realize, like, they want to live here too. And they want to be able to live with their own stuff. They want to be able to believe their own shit. They're not coming here so they can be Christians. Why aren't they trying to be Christians? And it's all just fantastic distraction, right? It's fucking crazy. It's crazy how stupid everyone is. I apologize on behalf of all white people for this guy. Yeah, that makes sense. One of the newest forms of racism, it's not new, but one of the most prominent forms of racism today is the denial of racism. White people always deny it. It's interesting too, because like we all know that racism exists, but then every single instance that racism is pointed out, these arrogant, shitbag white people will be like, man, basically like the person of color that's saying what happened is lying. Now, if there's a video and the video is being misconstrued. Right? But like white people love to deny it. Everybody loves to deny racism. And yet we all know it exists, and then it's like, well, who's the racist then? We know racism is a huge thing, but every single person denies it. And the reality is racism really does extend from the tiny dick thing. All these white guys in the comments, they have tiny fucking dicks. Right? They absolutely have tiny dicks. They're probably short, fat, balding. They're not like ask your chick, because the funniest thing is, you're not, if a girl is there and she's her man is there, she's not going to be honest. But this idea that if you ask females, of all the guys you've been with, and they've been with plenty, who were the most tolerant people? Who were the guys that were like, yeah, gay people, whatever. Yeah, black people, whatever. It's always going to be the white guy with the bigger dick. The ones that always get the most upset, that cry the loudest, are the ones with the fucking tiny dicks. That's that tiny dick that makes them so insecure angry, And it's interesting, too, because my wife will say, most guys don't give a shit anyway. They don't care if the woman gets on. They do care. They just know they can't do it. So they act indifferent. But if they could knock your box out, they would. It's why white people get so upset to find out that their woman has been with a black guy. Right? It's not because they're somehow tainted or some shit like that. It's because they know that there's a better chance that black guy had a big old fucking dick and gave her the experience she should have every time. And they know they can't match that. That's why they get so mad about it. That's why they're so, insecure about it. Look at this crybaby. Look at this fucking absolute friar with a micro penis. The Austin profile is a friar who has the micro penis, and that fucking drives him crazy. But fake stream, it's a fake stream, it's a fake stream. He's not reading every dumb thing we're saying. It's funny as fuck, man. Right? Yep, that's my budget. Notice how they're doing everything but addressing the problem. They're not like, dude, I got a huge cock and I hate these people. They don't say shit like that. They know they have tiny pricks. It's that tiny prick that just really does, it fucks them up, man. And look at the society we live in, right? It's not a secret. In the friar culture, because they control everything the way they do, micro penis is seen as normal. And when Megyn Kelly said it, pointed it out, they make a video that they're trying to say it makes Megyn Kelly look bad or whatever because she's not satisfied by a micro penis. That's how stupid they are. I have a big pussy, but no pussy can be satisfied by a micro penis. They said that, that was gonna be everybody was gonna be like, yeah, you're right. Micro penis is more than okay, and if you want more than a micro penis, you are some sort of a whore. It's fucking crazy how that's how they think. Anything but addressing the actual issue. And the fucked up part is, there's nothing they can do about it. It's just what it is. So if anything, get better at other things, be open-minded to toys or shit like that. But, when you have that micro penis, you can't be, you can't be bad at everything else. You have to be really, you have to try really hard. Did I have to walk to get here? Well, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Look at the comments, Karen. Look at how crybaby they are. They're just fucking crying like crazy right now. He's talking about a micro penis, and why is he saying these things? Why is he saying these things? Desperately tried to bring up anything they can to sort of shoot the messenger. Oh, the messenger, he's saying things he's not supposed to say. Micro penis is fine. My girlfriend says it's okay. Every time she says, it's okay, honey, maybe next time. So she doesn't mind. And then I pass out, and who knows what she does after I pass out. Yep, I'm crashing out daily. That's why you're here, crying about me doing it. This is such friar shit, right? And speaking of these friars, let's prove some more. Watch, they're gonna completely ignore what's being said here, but All you religious fanatics, here we go. Let's talk some religion, right? It's entertaining for you to call me a pedophile. Hi, I like that. Seriously, the notion that of all the videos in all of Facebook and Hulu and all of these other things, all the movies that have been made, all the TV shows that have existed, all of the people with the huge feeds, out of all the things in the world, mine is the best. I'm the most entertaining. It's the most entertaining to come here and have somebody make fun of you and point out your micro penis and call you the pedophile and expose your fucking cult as the pedophile cult it is. That's entertaining. I'm more entertaining than anything else he could be doing right now, right? Isn't that funny? Yeah, I must be doing something wrong. So Mishnah Nada 5-4 says, and the Mishnah Nada is the Talmud. This is the foundation of the people who create our perception. Right? The micro penises themselves. This is what they believe. And of course you're gonna see that the pedos on here, the friars on here and their micro penises, they're not gonna say anything about what I'm saying. Maybe they will now that I'm prompting them to. But they're not gonna have a problem with what I'm reading. They're gonna have a problem with me reading it, right? A girl who is 3 years and 1 day old, whose father has arranged her betrothal, is betrothed through intercourse, as the halalchic status of intercourse with her is that of intercourse in all halalchic senses, meaning ownership. Halalchic senses and all the halalchic senses means ownership takes place. And in a case where the childless husband of a girl 3 years and 1 day old, so he's 40, 50, 60, and he dies, she's 3, 4, 5 years old, obviously she hasn't had any children yet. If he dies, if his brother, the Yavam, engages in intercourse with her, he acquires her as his wife. And if she is married, a man, by the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub, help out. If you give a shit about this stuff, if you want to end this disgusting fucking pedophile cult, then share the feed of the guy who's exposing it. If she is married, a man other than her husband is liable for engaging in intercourse with her due to violation of the prohibition against intercourse with a married woman. Right? Because she's a married woman at 3. If the girl is less than that age, younger than 3 years and 1 day, the status of the intercourse with her is not that of intercourse in all halalchic senses. No ownership takes place. Rather, it's like placing a finger into the eye. Just as in that case, the eye constricts, sheds tears, and then returns to its original state, so too, in a girl younger than 3 years and 1 day old, the hymen returns to its original state. Like Trump's ear, it just grows back. In the case of a boy 9 years and 1 day old, whose brother had died childless, who engaged in intercourse with his Yavama, his brother's widow, the status of that intercourse is that of halalchic intercourse, and he acquires her as his wife. But he cannot give her a bill of divorce if he chooses to end the marriage until he reaches majority. And if he engages in bestiality, he disqualifies the animal from being sacrificed upon the altar, and the animal is stoned due to his act. Put into a small pit, and they stand around throwing rocks at it until it dies. Because they're the most moral, amazing people. This is who they are. So they like to pretend to be a priest, right? One of these profiles is a fake priest. Dude, it's Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. Why aren't you in church? Why are you here begging for attention if you're really a priest? Look at these dumbass comments, man. It's just fucking crazy. The really fun vlogs page says, look, I'm a pedophile. I am. I'm a pedo, and I'm with the pedos, and I'm for the pedos. Right? What a fucking insane piece of shit these people are. They're not gonna say anything. Come on, let's hear. What idiotic slop is this? Dude gets us theology from a cornflakes box. Says another one of these dumb friars. Right? Yep. I love when they're dumb enough to be blasphemous. Right? Because the programming tells them to protect the conspiracy, protect the cult at all costs. So when you start exposing the horrible things they do, they know better than to be like, yeah, I'm proudly, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, we do that, so what? They know to instinctually deny it. But then you say, okay, so you're being blasphemous? Are you denying what the Talmud says? Are you denying the Mishnah Nadah? Because that's fucking blasphemous, don't you think? But that's just how stupid they are. Yep, now I'm a racist, apparently. Yep. You are being racist against I think we should eliminate you, eradicate your cult. But you're not a race. You're a cult. Again, the stupidity in what they do and what they say is just always apparent. You know? They're clearly not a race. Right? I saw something today where a guy... So what they're doing again with this World Cup shit is they're finding people celebrating and then being like, hey, you support Israel, right? And they're like, what the fuck? It happens over and over again. But one of the guys interviewing people, his name is Vardy. You wouldn't assume his last name is Vardy. You wouldn't assume that's a friar. Or Leslie Moonves, right? The CBS CEO that was found to be fucking doing really inappropriate shit and finally got exposed and had to step down, but was given like an $80 million severance package to do so. If I told you Moonves, you would think that was a fucking Mexican or some shit, right? Literally, no one thinks atheists or the smart ones anymore. They don't even understand objective reality versus subjective opinion. Look, this guy's trying to use words to make himself sound smarter. Like there was this time when atheists were celebrated in society, right? Don't you think it's weird that atheists are consistently pushed as being like the worst thing you can be? When the reality is the atheists aren't ever the ones that are doing the mass shootings. Atheists aren't the ones caught running the pedophile groups. Like this is always religious nuts. You know? No wars have happened because of atheism, and but why do they do that? Why do they present it like atheists are worse? Because the atheists are the hardest to control. You know, as long as you believe in some form of Abrahamic bullshit, especially if you're dumb enough to be a Christian. If you're dumb enough to be a Christian, then it's like you automatically believe that you are second tier in your own religion. You believe that the bad guys in your Bible, because Satan only shows up sporadically, the real bad guys are Abraham and the children of Abraham. You believe that the bad guys in your Bible are the ones that kill your Jesus, your main superhero, that those are your Christian God's favorite chosen people. A completely different religion, a religion that essentially hates you, is your chosen people. And that they definitely want you to be a Christian for that reason. You know, it's the atheists that are going to be like, yeah, I don't give a shit about what your Bible says. I don't give a God promised you this land thousands of years ago. Well, why did God make it so difficult for you to, if God, the God that can dinkle, dinkle, dink anything it wants to happen, if it promised you this land, why doesn't it just dinkle, dinkle, dink, make the land happen? You know, it's just, it's stupidity layered upon itself. And each layer of the stupidity exposes something else. It's slow with a chance and millions of comments or something. What a dick, right? So I'm supposed to respond to comments and read comments at the same time. That makes sense. You know, you can respond to comments effectively while also reading each one. And I should absolutely be reading all of these dumbass comments that say absolutely nothing. He's a stupid idiot. Well, then wouldn't that make me smart? If I'm a stupid idiot, makes you smart, right? But this guy thinks I'm a stupid idiot because I don't support his pedophilia. It's actually pretty obvious. Just look at what they're doing. Dude, I could debate, this is where he could do it, but he's not going to. I could debate circles and I could actually dismantle your worldview with very simple questions. Don't act like you're a tough dude. You're a little man with idiotic theology. Again, so instead of actually doing the thing that he's claiming, that instead of actually debunking anything I'm saying, he is going to just lay this huge crybaby comment saying, oh, I could. I'm just not going to. I'm gonna just keep watching you. Day after day after day, I'm gonna watch you and cry about what you're saying. I could totally dismantle your entire worldview with just a few questions. Like I'm sitting here going, no, please don't. Please don't. And funny thing is, I'm pointing out what your shit does and says, and for some reason, just like always, you cowards avoid it. Why do you cowards always avoid, you know, this thing you're so good at? Why are you so scared? I think we both know the answer. We both know it's because you can't actually debunk anything being said. You can't dismantle any sort of worldview. Where the fuck did that girl go? She just disappeared. That was weird. Why do people give a shit if they're called racist anyway? Okay, I'm racist, now what? Well, there you go. Brainwashed idiot. This guy's brainwashed. He doesn't think it's okay to rape children. What the fuck's wrong with him? He's just talking around in circles under a tree because he doesn't even know what to say. What an absolute fool. This is seriously, it's fucking hilarious. This is literally what they do every single fucking time. Every time. Because no one likes racists besides other racists. I mean, again, like to stupidly say racist in this scenario is just, it's so telling as to who we're dealing with. Right? Which race am I opposed again? Which race am I opposed to? Race, right? They're a big tribe, not a good one. An infiltration that keeps being ejected and rejected due to their ways. 109 countries can't be wrong. I don't know how much of that I even believe. I mean, again, it's the narrative that they present. I think when you look at it, it has their fingerprints all over it, right? They thought if they said, look, we've been rejected from 109 countries over the last 1,000 years, that's going to be like, oh, those poor friars. they were rejected. Oh, well, we can't, we don't want to continue that. Like, that's what I think that is. You know? But instead, because this is how, you know, this is, if you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel's stupidity, right? They're just stupid. They're really stupid. They don't realize the things they say makes them look bad. You can't demonize Israel if Israel's doing the right things. But this is how this works. There's no trying to sound smarter, dude. You don't know what objective reality. You don't know what objective reality. You base your objective reality off subjective opinions, which makes it a subjective reality. Atheist slop. I mean, again, so that means raping 3-year-olds is okay as long as you own them afterwards, and then younger than 3 years old, it's okay to rape them because the hymen grows back. Is that what the objective or the subjective? Which one is that? That's the Talmud. What about metzitzia b'peh? Metzitzia b'peh, where does that fall into? They're not the worst, saying they're not the worst, saying they're just the dumbest things. What? I think there was a bug up there. CEOs are some of the hard. What the fuck are you even talking about? Psychobabble. Yep. Psychobabble. That's what they did. Psychobabble is one of their provided talking points. If you look up act.il, it'll explain it all to you. But literally, like, just the idea that some random guy in Michigan goes live on a Sunday morning at 9 in the morning, and there are all these Jews on here somehow. 0.183% of the United States population, less than 2% of the world's population, and they're here. And they are mad at what I'm saying, but not even but that I'm saying it. They're not actually addressing what's being said. They're just mad because I'm saying it. What do you think the chances are that there would even be one Jew here? Let alone multiple crybaby Jews here, you know, mad about what I'm saying. There's a lot of things worse than an atheist, but there's not a lot of people that are dumber than an atheist. No, probably Muslims. Man, this guy is super smart. I haven't seen the Islamic equivalent to Mishnah Nadah. Now, granted, the whole Muhammad and Aisha thing, Aisha, whatever her name is, you know, 6 years old when she was married to Muhammad in his 50s, and then 9 years old when they consecrated the marriage in which she became his favorite wife. And that's pretty fucked up. But, you know, there's still nothing that flat out says, hey, women, there's no fuck. There might be, I just haven't seen it yet. But there's no age limit to when you can rape little girls. I don't know of the Islam equivalent to that. You know, Daniel here, good old Daniel. Daniel has been here for 5 years and has 9.5 thousand subscribers. And this is the best he can come up with. He's here. The guy with 9,000 plus subscribers is here crying about what I'm doing. I'm sure that's just an accident. They're just so ridiculous. You don't know what objective reality is. Blah, blah, shut the fuck up. Now I don't have self-awareness. Whoever said I was an atheist? Was I the one going, I'm an atheist? It's funny how they have to put labels on things to be able to argue their pre-planned points, right? They can't just argue against what somebody is saying. They have a Rolodex full of things that they've been approved of to say. So people probably wondering what I'm talking about. Let's give you a quick rundown. All right. Act.il. And here I can already hear the crybaby, so let's do this real quick. Like seriously, just why isn't Daniel going, yeah, I'm Jewish, I'm proud of that, and yeah, we believe these things, so what? What's the problem? Why is he taking it into objective reality and blah, blah? Why doesn't he just address the things at hand if he's so fucking smart? So here's Naftali Bennett, just a super high-ranking Israeli. At this point, he's a former Israeli prime minister, soon to be future, maybe. I'm not sure. When Netanyahu finally steps down, they might put him in charge. Who knows? But this is back in 2010. He's talking to the Israeli news network.
My Israel has arranged instruction day for wiki editors. The goal of the day is to teach people how to edit in Wikipedia, which is the #1 source of information today in the world. As a way of example, if someone searches the Gaza flotilla, we want to be there. We want to be the guys who influence what is written there, how it's written, and to ensure that it's balanced and Zionist in nature.
Okay. So back in 2010, just after the original Gaza flotilla, because you think the Gaza flotilla is Greta Thunberg. No, this has been going on for a long time. Actually, the original Gaza flotilla from 2010 was where Ken O'Keefe emerged from. But you see, he's saying that they've arranged a instruction day for the editors of Wikipedia. At that point, they're the #1 source of information in the world. But they need the Israelis to come in and teach them how to word things so that it's balanced and Zionist in nature. So when you understand that I use Wikipedia as my source, it's because I don't think everything in Wikipedia is true, but I do know that everything in Wikipedia is the truth they want us to have. And he confirms that. Balanced and Zionist in nature. So, hang on a second.
We can do the impossible. We do it every day. The things once thought illogical, we prove and prove away. The lines we saw as nautical are now redrawn in space. Evolution's in your optical. Just look at your Chevy Chase.
Alright, so Act.il. Act.il is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online, quote, anti-Israel content, such as the boycott, divestments, and sanctions movement. Now, again, I'm not just sitting here like, and this is objective and it's subjective. And no, this is facts. I'm providing you with facts. I'm providing you with the narrative as we're supposed to know it, have it, whatever. So if you want to address what's actually being said, that would be really cool. Although I never expect you to, especially if you're a piece of shit friar or pedophile.
I believe in you. Whatever you conclude, you can or can't.
Its activities were referred to as a, quote, online propaganda campaign and a, quote, virtual situation room for pro-Israel experts. It's the most important thing here. Act.il directed its users to missions, quote missions, to like, comment on, and share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Users were guided how to respond, which might entail writing reply using the provided talking points. Again, why they always say the dumb shit. They don't just take the shortcut and simply address what's being said. Simply address Mishnah Nada 5:4. Address the 3 years and 1 day old and, ownership and intercourse. Explain it. Help us understand dumb Goyim. Help us dumb Goyim understand why it's okay that you rape children and that you own them once you rape them. Just take that shortcut. Be proud of yourself, of your belief structure, of what it says, and stop being so blasphemous. The app also provided users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. By completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. Right? I'm just skipping through all these dumbass comments.
If you hate your boss, it's time to quit. You need to admit you're better than them.
So we have multiple Jews on here. Multiple Jews on here. Why aren't they addressing what's being said? If you're watching, like, share, and sub. If you're concerned about these things, or even if I'm wrong and you know somebody smarter than these dumbasses that are here.
By the looming fear, I'm not good enough, not smart enough.
Gay Williams. Oh, you guys. Oh, here I am trying to have a decent conversation. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to understand where I'm wrong. And this guy says Gay Williams. And that hurts my feelings. I'm just going to quit, guys. How could you say something so hurtful? They're so fucking stupid. Ask yourself these questions. Where's the shortcuts? Looks like bitch ass Daniel took off. He met his match and he ran away. He met his match and he ran away. This guy's saying stuff that I don't like. He's saying stuff I don't like. It did hurt, man, Alex. Oh, ow. Oh, ow. Repent and believe in the gospel. I mean, again, can you imagine being so stupid that you want to engage in something, but you just don't have anything to say, so you start, just spouting these pull cord comments that actually have nothing to do with what we're talking about? Like, it's crazy how Christians speak in a different language. As soon as you start really trying to, decipher what they're saying or explain, they just start, well, the Lord is the Jesus, and you gotta repent for your sins because Jesus died on the cross. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I know the fucking fake narrative. Nobody's sitting here going, wait, what's the Jesus story again? How's that go? He was in an airplane crash or something? Nobody says shit like that. You're hitting the wrong letter, dumbass. He literally put G-A-H a couple of times. Not just once. It wasn't once. It was twice.
I am an 11-ton butterfly. I'm gonna die.
You wouldn't understand heavenly things. You're right, because it's dumb as shit. I don't understand dumb shit.
I'm gonna fly.
But again, this is what they have. This is the extent of we're losing to this. So auto emancipation is a pamphlet that was written anonymously. It was actually published anonymously, but pamphlet written by German, or written anonymously in German by a Russian, Polish, Jewish doctor who was only a doctor because he got his law degree, but Jews weren't allowed to practice law in Russia at the time. So he became a doctor instead. After getting his law degree, he became a doctor. You know, you just make those choices. Doctor and activist Leon Pinsker in 1882. Again, it was attributed to him later in life, if not after death. But it was initially published anonymously. And again, think about what 1882 looks like. Who is publishing pamphlets anonymously and then just dispersing them all over the world? I'm not even really sure. But it is considered a founding document of modern friar nationalism, especially Zionism. So this notion of like, this is the promised land and we need to return home and all this, that wasn't a thing for 1800 plus years. You know, isolated, cases of it, supposedly speckle history, but I don't think they existed prior to the 1800s. So it was oh, Jesus Christ. Blackbird is here and the robins are not happy about it. The Red Sea chariot wheels found at the bottom of the sea from Moses to Israel ran at Pharaoh. It's not true. and the idea of wheels being found in the Red Sea is just stupid. Anything could have put wheels down there. Any ship could have sank and there'd be wheels, but that's not true. There's literally no evidence of it. And so I'm glad this dumbass brought it up, right? Because there you want to talk about like the psychology of what they do, of what they believe, and what they force you to accept. Even if you don't believe their thing, you're supposed to be like, well, I still accept their right to believe it, and blah. And all Abrahamic religions stem from this one thing, which is Exodus. And there's not a person today that's, any bit intelligent, that has two brain cells to rub together, that believes that 2 to 3 million people could survive in the desert for 40 years. We could get lost in the desert for 40 years to begin with. A desert the size of New Jersey, that 2 to 3 million people, if they would have just went hand to hand, they would have crossed it. It's just such a dumb fucking story. And it's so dumb too because there's no references to it. The supposed historical narrative that exists doesn't include this bullshit story. The Egyptians don't talk about 2 to 3 million Jews that were their slaves that eventually escaped and went across the Red Sea and through the Red Sea. The waters, like again, you honestly believe that back then, for some reason, God was all about talking to Jews. The only people that were capable of building God phones were Jews out in the middle of nowhere where nobody else is there to witness it or anything, but they're the only ones that can build these altars that can talk to God. And I mean, it's all so stupid. It's not about what happened in the past. The Bible is about preparing us today for what's happening. So consistently in the Bible, you hear these narratives of these Jews building these altars, and then God says, hey, I am God, I am he who's mightier than the mightiest mighty mouse. He always introduces himself to people in different ways. And of course, this is one of those problems in the Bible that never gets dealt with. Who wrote all this down? Who was there writing down the conversation between Moses or Abram, who was turned into Abraham, who was like, yeah, and then God said, and then Abram said, and then God said, well, now you're Abraham, and your wife Sarai is now Sarah. And I know you're in your 90s, but you're going to give birth to a child, and you're going to call him Ishmael. Because even Abraham, and then Abraham was like, dude, what are you talking about? We're in our 90s. And God was like, don't worry, you're going to have a child. He's going to be called Ishmael. You know? And Abraham now, and his sister, Sarai, now Sarah, end up having. But what they tell you is they build the God phone. God says, this is going to be your land from here to here. And you own everything and everyone in it. And apparently these Jews come out of the woods or wherever, and they're like, hey, everybody, I just built one of those God phones that only we can build and nobody ever sees any evidence of. And God said that all the land from here to here is mine. So I'm going to live in the big house, and all of you now owe me taxes. And everybody was like, all right, cool. I don't know what you would have to lie for. So yeah, I guess so. You said it's true. It must be true. Like it's just straight up stupidity. Right. And it's fucking stupid. Like this Joseph guy is talking like it's truth. Like it's actual truth. No, it's proven. God rescued Lot and his wife from Sodom. You don't even know the story, do you? She became a pillar of salt. Scientists found that it used to be lit. What are you talking about? See what I mean? They just say dumb shit. And notice he's going to leave out the rest of that story, where Lot and his two daughters, who had to be 12 and under, were now in the cave together. And, you know, the daughters got their dad drunk. And these virgins laid with their father. And the next day they were like, look, I'm pregnant and it's a boy. They love leaving out that incestuous part of the story. But it's so stupid. It's just so fucking stupid. It's embarrassing to think that so many people actually fall for this shit. Anyway, back to auto-emancipation. So Pinsker, this is just what they do, right? Instead of being like, you know, the first thing said as to why Jews should have their own nation and they should have this and they should have that. They don't bother saying that. The first things, Pinsker discussed the origins of anti-Semitism and argued for friar self-rule and the development of a friar national consciousness. He wrote that friars would never become the social equals of Goyim until they had a state of their own. He called on friar leaders to convene and address the problem. In the pamphlet, he describes anti-friar attacks as a psychosis, a pathological disorder, and an irrational phobia. If you don't accept their supremacy, you have psychosis, pathological disorder, and an irrational phobia. All of them. This is how they do it. This is what they always do. Scientists said, I love how they keep quoting these scientists. Who are these scientists that you keep quoting? I love how everybody acts like they're not some dumbass who never fucking engages in this shit. Who doesn't look anything up. Who has a cursory fucking remembrance of the Bible that they were supposedly forced to read as a kid. But just think about that. So much trouble reading the Bible that they have to go to a special virgin to tell them what the Bible thing says. And yet you made your child read it and you thought your child had some sort of understanding of what they read. The Bible is insanely stupid. Like, it's a terrible, terrible story. It's written poorly. It's just dumb. If it didn't have the spiritual connection to it, it would have been long forgotten because it's just not even a good book. And yet this is, you know, people, oh yeah, when I was a kid, I read the Bible. Fuck you. If you did, you skimmed through it. If you understood 10% of what you read, and you just had enough to be able to, you know, because your parents who would then quiz you, they never read the shit either. Or if they did, it was when they were children and, you know, they have a cursory remembrance of it themselves. Humans have 360 joints in the body, but Muhammad already told this without any technology. This proves his... You see how desperate Muslims are? That's a great example of it, right? Because they don't have anything sort of realistic to point to. They don't have anything that you know, that you can undoubtedly point to and be like, yeah, that's fucking clearly some sort of, you know, there's no other way to explain that but a supernatural fucking intervention. They don't have anything like that. So they come up with stupid shit like, well, the word man is mentioned 26 times in the Bible, and the word woman is third, and we have 28 chromosomes, and like, they're just so stupid. The word day is mentioned 360 times in the Quran. The word month is mentioned 12 times. Like, these are the proofs that Muslims have. Do you know how stupid that is? Humans have 360 joints in their body, and Muhammad told us this. That proves the prophecies are true. That proves it. Muhammad, again, the guy who at 6 years old, Aisha, A-I-S-H-A, Aisha, whatever, I don't know how you say it. She was married to Muhammad, who was in his 50s. And then she was groomed for 3 years to fit his likings. And then when she was 9, they had sex to consummate the marriage. And she became his favorite wife. You guys want to talk about that part? No, I'm not a pedophile, Ferg. No, definitely not a pedophile. Hard to come back from indoctrination of any sort of religious being the worst offenders. Religion's just awful. It's fucking awful. There's nothing that if one day we woke up and religion just wasn't here anymore. We just all woke up and said, you know what, fuck that. That shit's crazy. No more religion. There would be nothing in this world that's now missing that we couldn't attain somewhere else. However, there's a lot of really bad shit that's only associated with religion that would be gotten rid of. You know, the justification for friars to rape fucking children, whether they're 3 years and 1 day old or not, that just means ownership, but that doesn't exist anymore. You don't have a good book, you know, a biblical book telling you that it's okay. In the early 18th and 19th century, the marriage age is 12 years old. Who gives a fuck? What are you talking about? Again, this is all just bullshit you have to believe. Just like you believe that in that same time period, people lived to be on average 30 years old, yet every single fucking historical figure somehow lived to be in their 80s, 90s and shit. Religion is a divisive tool. Organized religion, that is. It's a divisive, and at the same time, it's like a insulator. It's like a buffer. It protects the friars. While it divides all of us and shit like that, again, all the Christians believe that the completely different religion is their God's chosen people. If it weren't for Christianity, Israel wouldn't be doing what it's doing right now. We, just as fucking decent human beings, would have stepped in a long time ago and wiped that shit off the map. Hmm? Allah will find you. Oh yeah? What is Allah like if it's Allah, doesn't Allah just be like right there? What do you mean Allah's going to find me? Am I like hiding? Allah's not gonna find me here.
How long do the raindrops
God, you're so dumb.
How does it
And they have to be. I mean, you have to be really fucking stupid to be religious. You have to be fucking stupid to believe that there are children that are being starved to death or starved until the bomb gets dropped on them by God's chosen people. And like God's just like, yeah, well, it's the way it is. I could just dinkle dinkle dink this all better, but I'm not going to. Even though back then God is like spreading waters and God well, the Jews can have this and the Jews can have this and the Jews can have this and here's some tablets. The whole Moses on the mountain story is dumb as fuck. He disappeared for 40 days, 40 nights. And by the time he came down, the people had not only organized a completely different religion with its own belief structures and its own hierarchies, and they also were able to melt down all the gold they had. Somehow Moses' brother convinced everybody to donate all their gold, melt it down, and then I guess he built a big giant mold that they poured the gold into to make the great golden calf that they now worshipped. This all took place within the 40 days, so how long was it before they were like, fuck Moses? It would have had to have been just a few days because, it takes a minute to establish another religion. And then, the whole build the mold and then, set it up like that. That takes days. And why would they be willing to follow Moses for 40 years in the desert? But he's gone for a couple of days and they're like, fuck that. Fuck Yahweh. He's a dickhead anyway. Like, it's just stupid. Ever heard of the Islamic Golden Age? Why do you think all Western imperialism destroyed Middle East? They created the borders after World War I. They don't know. I think every so often, who the good guy religion is changes. And you can't have the good guys without having the bad guys. But I don't believe anything that we're told prior to, I don't know, the early 1920s. I mean, I don't believe anything we're told to this day. Literally, I only know what's happening in my immediate world. Like right now, my wife and kids are in the house. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I assume they're doing things, but I don't necessarily know what they're doing.
Their eyes are on the prize, as sheep were just a food. They hide beneath the why instead of how and who. But now it's
And when you're talking about worldwide bullshit, you have no fucking idea. We all know one thing though. We all know that the winners write the history, right? But we don't take that into consideration when we talk about what we believe. All COVID vaccinated people are subhuman. It's a pretty harsh thing to say. I think they just have a lot of dumbass people who were tricked and or forced into doing something they didn't want to do. Oh geez, we have this dumbass who's gonna fucking, again, imagine being so shook by what I'm saying that you're gonna spam a bunch of dumb shit that doesn't actually have anything to do with what's being said. Like this guy said, I'm shaming you. No, you're shaming yourself, you dumbass. Talk about the Jewish Talmud, then tell me what's worse. The Talmud. The Mishnah Nada is the wall.
They legalize the cannabis, then bust those being honest. They have all the bonnets where maids cleaning.
It's the thing that in my years and years of research, I believe I've hit the pinnacle of that research. I can't imagine that there's something that's going to be worse than what Mishnah 5:4 says.
So where is the first
Like seriously, what could be worse?
on her husband being shady?
Yeah, they think we're slaves, and yeah, that's all awful.
Missing with a convenient
The
operation
2800 slaves bullshit, that's all awful.
is their salvation.
But nothing is worse than the 3 years and 1 day shit. Well, and the less on both sides of the 3 years and 1 day shit.
No more cheeks with tongue. Have you lost your goddamn mind? I know the
Your God needs to teach you how to spell shaming. I didn't even notice. He's putting the E in there.
thoughts and therefore home to the resistance that they fear.
Oh, what a dumbass.
Goes far beyond the mere. Their dominance is years, millennia in the making. Their tactics may seem weird that way. You thank them for their
Can't even fucking
your
spell.
words while shaking, faking you right out of contention. The glow
You believe what the Jews let you know.
I always mention.
Yeah,
But since I'm always in
yeah.
contention
That's
for
the point,
destruction of the class,
right? That's how you separate the truth from the fiction. When the thing that they're telling you, with the best spin they can possibly put on it, makes them look like monsters, then that's the truth. Because it's their information, it's what they're telling you. And they were stupid enough to let this thing get out. Because again, they're so stupid they say things like, if you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. They think people are going to go, oh, well, we don't want to demonize Israel now. Not ask, well, how can we demonize you if what you're doing is the right thing? He needs medication to encourage his delusionment. To encourage my delusionment. Delusionment, is that a word? You're atheist, why do you care? If nothing matters because we're just cells. I don't understand. Why does life matter because some Jewish fairy tale exists? I never understand that logic. Like, that's how stupid, again, these religious people have to be. They have to make up shit in order to believe what they want. As the other side of it, you don't have to make shit up. You just have to look at what it says. But to be like, well, if you don't believe that God exists, then what does it matter? What the fuck are you talking about? You need some fake Jewish fairy tale to tell you how to live your life? To give you your morals? Like, what kind of sick piece of shit are you? Schizophrenia, there we go. That's their main one. Schizophrenia. This guy is saying I'm schizophrenic because I think we shouldn't allow the raping of children. That makes sense, right? That sounds like something a decent, reasonable person would say, right? The Roaring 20s. Yeah, but you don't know. You know, everything. I only say the Roaring 20s because my grandparents were born in the 20s. Once we get to our grandparents and what their grandparents, like, ask your grandparents about their grandparents, if you're old. You know, if you're a youngster, then your grandparents were around, you know, at modern times. You know, and I would have thought it was earlier, but there's one glaring piece of the puzzle that dates things much later, and that's the Pentagon. You know, the Pentagon to me is the most incredible Tartaria building in the world. And they say that it was built from September 11th. It was selected, the site was selected, the swamp site was selected on September 2nd, 1941. And 9 days later, They finalized the paperwork and broke ground on the site. And this is a swampland, so they would have to, drain the entire swamp, then do whatever was necessary to prevent it from flooding back up, while then pouring. The Pentagon is 7 stories, 2 below ground and 5 above ground. So they have to pour the first basement, then that has to dry, then they pour the second basement, then that has to dry, then they can build the rest of the building. And remember, the Pentagon is like 3 or 4 or 5 rings, 3 or 4. I don't remember how many rings it actually is. So it's a lot of building. And they were able to do it all, complete the entire building by January of 1943. So roughly 15, 16 months later. And there's literally no pictures of the construction. There's nothing to prove that it actually happened other than a goofy narrative. 15,000 workers working around the clock. Where'd they get the 15,000? Where'd they stay? How'd they feed them? So if not for the Pentagon, I'd be willing to say it was, something, whatever it was, happened later. But the Pentagon just throws everything off.
Irregardless of your amount, don't you always feel like you're left out of the deal?
If you believe what they tell you subconsciously, no, I don't. Again, why are you trying to tell me what I believe to fit your narrative instead of just addressing what I believe? You ain't paying that price that way. I'm gonna put you in the corner who make me no money. You're more than welcome to come try to put me on the corner. We don't care what you have wrong with your with you. We accept everybody in this community. Down syndrome, black, gay, it doesn't matter what's wrong with you. So again, we have yet another one of these completely random Jewish people who are focused on my page. Why are so many random Jewish people focused on my page? Don't you think that's a little weird? I know I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I've been going live since you could first go live on Facebook. I was making videos before that. And at no point until basically when they reinstituted act.il in the early 2026, I mean, there was some example of it in the, basically, in the last couple years, they've become a little more brazen. But for the most part, they remain unidentified. And yet somehow nowadays, I have all these Jews that come in here, cry about what I'm saying, and never address anything said. They cry about it, but they never address it. Think about why that would make sense. 0.183% of the world's population, 2% of the U.S. population. Sunday morning, 9 a.m., and they're like, yeah, let's get online, and just happen across this one dude's page. I mean, it's so fucking stupid. Rage bait. Rage bait. I had to know my great-grandparents. Now my great-grandfather, he's the one who wouldn't talk. Exactly. Your great-grandfather wouldn't talk. But your great-grandfather is only your grandfather's father. His father is a complete mystery. Morning. Just put it together. Why do so many Jewish people keep coming in here crying but not addressing it? Basically getting all blasphemous. mean, it's blasphemous. Are you denying what the Talmud says? Are you denying Mishnah Nadah? Why? Why aren't you proud of your belief structure? Why do you hide it? Like you say things, but you never come. Remember what I told you. Stop. Stop and just pump it twice. Works for me every time. I don't pump it all the way down. I just tap it. Well, you know, I'm a guy, so you know. I don't understand what I'm doing. Oh my gosh. I put it in D to go forward, right? Me and my vast car knowledge.
I must make amends.
Look, I'm driving. I'm a big girl.
No help from my friend. Won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Oh Lord, won't you buy me a flat screen TV? Dialing $4 is trying to find me. I wait for delivery each day until 3. So Lord, won't you buy me a flat screen TV?
Everybody.
Oh Lord, won't you buy me a night on the town?
Oh, I got the everybody wrong.
I'm counting on you, Lord. Please don't let me down. Prove that you love me and buy the next round. So Lord, won't you buy me a night on the town?
Everybody.
Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime. No help from my friends. So Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? That's it. Thanks, Janice.
Did you read it? Yeah. Trying to tell you. They've been poisoning black people forever with that bullshit. I'm glad you know. You know, when they always try to pretend like, you know, it's just that you don't like them or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, my number one thing is we need to protect the Jewish children over everybody else. Because that's who grows up to be the psychos anyway. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. They're just fucking crazy. I shared Mishnah Nadah with my neighbor. And I've been trying to tell everybody. I need to get a shirt made up. I need a fucking shirt guy. Cause I got all kinds of shirt designs. But it's the wall. What is worse? What could be worse? Like, think about it like this. If you were gonna say, oh yeah, well, Muslims believe this, what would be worse than what Mishnah Nadah says? How with that guy you went home with last night? Yeah, because I'm always out doing cool shit.
Let's take all our gifts and throw them away, complaining how cruel and unfair the world plays. Let's all stay inside, smoke crack and make babies, then say how the government pulled a gun out and made me. Let's talk of maybes and how slavery exists. Let's Let's all just say things, ignorant bliss. Let's marinate on the past and keep the cast hard. Let's make lots of bad headlines. Let's lower the bar. Let's talk of scars. Let's keep separating. Let's keep it debated so it's never negated. Let's invade if you're weak. Make friends if you're strong. Let's change their beliefs. Let's right all their wrong. Follow along. See, this way we don't have to work on ourselves. As one humans, equal. Think of the sequence. Hasn't the steeple been up long enough? Times are tough for everybody. Racism's alive because of our thoughts. We keep it in stride. We offer the offering. On the same polluted air. That's what's not fair. Not color of hair, skin, or eyes. Not judge than the judge who lives in our skies. We all cry the same. As pawns in this game, are you just going to play or will you take the reins? We're the same. Everyone's so concerned with preserving their history, the brother and sister thing seems to be gone.
Where'd it go?
But on a funny note, I'll solve your mystery. Drum roll, please. In the future, everyone looks just like me.
The first one. Look how stupid you are. Allah. Yeah. What about Muhammad and his 6-year-old, 9-year-old wife? You just want to keep avoiding that? Islam's dumb. And Christianity's dumb. You know, I might not know all of the ins and outs in it, but I definitely don't know any good things. Nobody's ever told me some good thing that, again, only exists because of the religion. We couldn't get it anywhere else. It's amazing.
A lot of us do a lot of complaining. We do it so much, it sucks are amazing. Each time we say things like or can't,
It's so
like
awesome.
we're replacing our hands with our hands. But this is a chance to take something back. A gift in the plants can make an impact on more than your stacks, but your health and well-being. Fixing the cracks starts at the beginning. Back when we were living, respecting the mother. Before things were spinning, when we called ourselves brother. The earth is the lover, the giver. She's so full of wonder and answers and light.
This is so fucked up.
Rights when stuck with what's left, like bathing in light or
Like I like watching Rathbone videos. Good way to stay informed of what's going on. You only need to really watch one truther because they all say the same shit. But it's like, you know, the more that we look into and the more that gets exposed, it's like the First Amendment videos, right? The First Amendment guys, they like all those videos that show you cops violating people's rights. Well, unless there's a successful lawsuit, those are just flexes. You know, that's just a flex for the police. You know, the police are shown to be violating these people's rights tremendously, and then they get away with it. And a lot of times you see people, you know, citizens doing it, and the cops show up, and the cops are douchebags, and you know, the auditor will be like, well, if this guy just says he's sorry, and the person fakes their way through an apology. And, like, I think we need a new, you know, these people are more supremacist than anything else. And that's where we have to move past the you know, the programs. The program is for us to call everyone racist. But you know, most of these groups encompass many races. It's not racism, it's supremacy. Yep. Yeah. A fake fucking piece of shit rabbi. Again, you see this effort of like you're claiming something happened or that something could happen, but never actually proving it. Like, let's say some rabbi put me in my place, right? Why not make the point they made? Be like the rabbi said this, and that's because there is no rabbi put me in my place. What happens 100% of the time is these fucking fake rabbi characters come in and prove what shitbags these people are. You know, prove their affinity for children. They're sick. Especially guys like Rabbi Shmuley. I don't even want to, like piece of shit Shmuley. Yeah. I actually think he was here. I actually think one of the fake profiles was him. Because that's what he does. Right? He likes to make fake profiles and infiltrate people's feeds and shit. Because he's a coward. Right? He would never, like, there's no way Shmuley would face someone like me in a debate. He'll go to setups where he knows he's safe, where there's rules and the person won't say certain things, and he gets to promote his book and, you know, bullshit like that. But Shmuley's a fucking pedophile from a long line of pedophiles. His dad was a pedophile. He admits it. His dad was 10 years older than him, 10 years older than his wife. And Shmuley said that his mom had him at 24 years old, the youngest of 5 kids, and it was after they had taken a break from having kids. So you'd have to think it's at least 3 years, putting his mom at 20 to 21, when she had his next oldest sibling. And when you do the math there, you're looking at roughly a kid every 2 years. So that puts her down to 13 when she started having kids, which fits their fucking narrative. You know, she was selected at a certain age. And, you know, at 12 when she was checked, she had her 2 pubes. So they had her bat mitzvah, and 6 years later, 6 months later, she's a fucking full-fledged woman and can start popping out kids. They're sick, man. They're sick. I'm telling you, I'm not making this shit up. You think I just fucking make up all these details? Why would I make up fake details that you couldn't just look up for yourself? This is sad. This man has mental health issues. We pray for you from the Catholic Church. You mean the biggest pedophile organization in the world? Yeah, I'm not worried about you. You have mental issues. Again, this is your good Catholic, right? Look at the name that they use. The fake profile name that they use. And obviously this is just a friar pretending to be something, but still, it just shows you exactly what the fuck is going on here. These guys are just, it's what it is, man. If I was wrong about what I'm saying, all of these, especially the random Jews that keep coming through, would just simply point it out. You're wrong about this. It's obvious. Here's the proof. And then that would be that. It's just not how they operate. Oh, it sucks, man. It sucks being this good at this. I don't give you any room. Like, I'm like Floyd, right? You just keep hitting air, and it's funny because you hear Floyd say things like he struggles to find motivation. You're like, what are you talking about? Fight Pacquiao, hey, blah, 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 you know? And until you're that good at something, you can't understand what he's saying. You know, all of us would look at any fucking professional fight, especially if you're a fighter and you have the opportunity to prove you're better than everybody. You know, any fight is a potential disaster, but when you're Floyd and you've proven it 50 fucking times that you know, the only thing that happened was one guy got lucky and hit you twice. Another guy hit you once and knocked a tooth out. And now he's so proud. He lost that fight. But Floyd is so good that Maidana had Floyd's tooth put into a necklace and wears it around his neck. That's how much better Floyd was than Maidana. And Maidana was a fucking champion, right? But Floyd, you know, it's such a prize to be like, look, I hit him once. That Maidana keeps his tooth on a necklace. That's so fucking crazy, right? But that's what it is for me. You know, it gets boring sitting here pointing out how, look, yep, the fake name, the fake racist name is somehow a reasonable, decent person telling the truth, right? Like, it's so easy. And then, of course, when they say things, it's just dumb. You say you are so good at this. You have 9 people in the chat, and you've been doing this for over a decade. Yeah? That doesn't point to censorship. That points to me being terrible. And no matter how many times my people come in and say, man, like Karen has been kicked out of here, hasn't been able to come back in. And then when she does, she goes, man, what the fuck? You know, the idea that the day before Charlie Kirk got killed, I was consistently getting, the months before Charlie Kirk got killed, I was consistently getting between 8 and 10,000 views, 2 and 10,000 views. Sometimes it'd be even higher than that, up to 30,000 views in some situations, 40,000 on one case. Actually, more than one case. The other times I got 40,000, the feed got tanked. So those don't exist. But you can literally just go back into my history and see that the day Charlie got kirked, something happened. Because suddenly I go from thousands to 40. And it's just, it's you know, it's obvious. You don't run feeds like I do where you have, you know, 18, 19, 20 plus likes and 5 viewers. That shit just doesn't exist that way. 2,600 plus following, and then it just stops. Back when I had 500 following, I would be allowed to get all kinds of views. But yep, it doesn't point to censorship. It doesn't point to interference. If I've been doing this for this long and I'm this bad, why are you one of those people that are still fucking here? Like, if you can say the 10 years thing, then obviously you've been watching for a long fucking time. Why have you been watching, making fake profile after fake profile after fake profile? And the thing is, we all know that talking like I talk gets you in trouble. I just don't understand why you don't fucking just debunk what I'm saying. You were comparing yourself to Charlie Kirk? Yeah, that's what I said. That's how stupid you are. I was talking about the day Charlie got killed, my feed changed, but now you're saying I'm comparing myself to Charlie Kirk. You're so desperately stupid that you're making up your own arguments because you can't address what I'm saying. Okay? It's just amazing. It's amazing that you are this willing to be the foil, right? And I guess it's because of your stupidity, you don't quite realize how stupid you look. So that's why you keep playing the role. But everybody on here just, you know, they look at you and they go, well, what, you know, it's 10 a.m. on a Sunday. And you're here, like you're here every day, spending hours watching this guy begging for attention. And that's normal? You make fake, like how many real people have made a single fake profile to watch somebody else, especially somebody that's blocked them for, pedophile shit? Because I can't imagine most of you make pedophile statements or jokes, but this person has made countless profiles so they can watch me. What is happening here? How does that make sense? And I love addressing what they're saying, because there might be people in the comments or whatever that are like, wait, might think I'm avoiding it, or might actually, have a similar question or statement. And so addressing what they say, and literally pointing out, like, this is the best. This is the best they can come up with. If they could come up with something else, they would. If they could figure out something, some angle to come at me with that would make sense and make me look bad, they do it. They're not sitting on some great argument to destroy my whole perspective. They're just waiting for the right time to say it. And until then, they're going to be stupid as shit. That's not how it works. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me. I wish I had better opposition. But no, I have seven viewers and 10 likes. Totally makes sense. 2,600 subscribers. Oh, look. Another one of the same characters has come back to say the same dumb shit. This is somebody who's admitted to being Jewish. Why are there so many Jews obsessed with me if I'm wrong? Why are there so many Jews obsessed with me? And when I read their stuff, they blasphemy, deny it. But just make it make sense. What's happening here? I'm a nothing nobody with 7 viewers after 10 years. You only get 7. Then why are they here? Why are they so determined to prove my point? Again, why don't they just prove that they're the best people in the world and debunk what I'm saying? Because everything I'm saying makes them look awful. But chances are Really Fun Blogs has literally raped a child before. I'm not saying it with hyperbole or, just to exaggerate or to get a reaction. No, he's a friar. Soul correction happens every 2 weeks in Israel and then in offshoots of Israel. Settlements all over the world like Curious Joel, Lakewood, Huntington Woods here in Michigan. Oh yeah, you're 16. Well, at 16 is when you first are forced to do it. So if you're 16, that means from around 3 years old to 12 years old, you were ritualistically raped in soul correction circles. In soul correction rituals. And then at 12, you age out of preference. And then around 15, 16 is when you have to, rape your own child to receive your transcendence or your redemption or whatever. You people are sick, man. You're fucking sick. Chosen people, my ass. You're sick. Everything about your cult is just fucking gross. Right? Notice how it's not like they deny what I'm saying here. They just start saying dumb shit. Like if you're guilty, how when you're guilty, you just, you get nervous and start saying dumb shit? Instead of being like, that's absurd. How dare you say shit like that? Blah, blah, blah. My father would never do that to me. This, that, and they don't say anything like that. They just start, well, blah, 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 well, blah, blah, blah. You know? You clearly don't like fries, not at all. I fucking hate everything about you. Everything. You're disgusting. From the ugliest little troll lady to the fucking, you know. I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, it's hard to think. How do you pull a person out of a cult that's been raping them since they were a small child? You know, this destroys so many levels of humanity, and it's documented. It's well documented. The Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article documents it. You are a complete nut. Yeah, see, back to psychosis, pathological disorder, irrational phobia. Whenever they start saying the truth, you got to make them sound crazy. They're crazy, like Dave Chappelle said. The worst thing to do is to call somebody crazy because it's dismissive. So if they can trick people into thinking the person saying it might be crazy, then they're quicker to dismiss what they're saying. Oh, that's just crazy rant. But, you know, if this truly is a 16-year-old, you see that that sickness is permeated even a 16-year-old. And he, you know, you think you can pull that piece of shit out of there? You think you could pull that kid that spits on people, that you know, has raped a child? You know, do you really think you can pull them out of that? It's interesting because YouTube selects random highlights from my videos. You know, I always watch to see what YouTube decided. I don't watch my videos, but I like watching the highlight to see just why did YouTube randomly select this. And a lot of times YouTube randomly selects it where like it's the start of something and then the video ends at a point where I end the point. And you know, it's not like it's a standard time. Sometimes it's 45 seconds, sometimes it's a minute plus. So I wonder how that whole YouTube highlight thing works. But I hear myself all the time in that regard. And I can't imagine why somebody would think otherwise. And I totally understand why you guys get your asses kicked so much. Because I sound amazing, right? You see what I'm saying? Look, this dumbass has now said multiple things and yet not once denied what I said. Just keeps, you're crazy. That's crazy. You're a crazy person. You're... Not one time was he like, fuck that. Pedophilia is disgusting. I think pedophiles should die. No, I've never been a part of anything like that. If I knew something like that, I'd be fucking killing people. Blah. Nothing. Just, I'm crazy. I'm crazy for bringing it up. I am denying what you're saying. Now you would. That's the first denial you actually made. Funny how you guys always forget to deny it till I tell you to. Fucking morons, man. They just couldn't be any better at being terrible opposition, at making me seem brilliant. Shut the fuck up now. Ooh, now we're getting STFUs. Ooh. The thing is, I feel terrible for you. What you went through was horrendous. Binding of Isaac rituals and you know, every 2 weeks Torah, or every 2 weeks after the Torah lesson, you have this soul correction where the adults stand in a big circle naked, reciting psalms and singing songs and verses and shit, while the children are in a smaller circle, naked, waiting to be raped. Like, that's horrendous. Being taken into the woods or taken into an old decrepit building where there's, you know, either the pentagram is carved into the ground with a hoe in the dirt, or it's painted on the floor in a with red paint. And the rabbi's there, and you know, they're all dressed in black, and the head rabbi shows up in white, and they go through the whole thing. Like, that's just horrendous. I feel so bad for any of you. Right? disgusting. It's horrendous. And it's not it's not a theory. It's a well-documented thing. And of course, the friars that are on here aren't going, yeah, as a friar, I really hate this. I hate that this shit happens. It makes us look and be such horrible people. And I think as friars, we need to come together and try to stop this thing. And nothing like that. All they try to do is change the subject, attack, make it sound like I'm the bad guy for pointing this shit out. It's amazing. Why would someone agree to prove a point to a crazy person that will be crazy? What? What? Which part isn't true? Please tell me which part isn't true. Let's see. So, are we saying Israel, Hayom, bottom of darkness isn't true? Are we saying, are you being blasphemous? If you're being blasphemous, that's interesting. Oh, we're resetting. Now we're going back to the likes. Talk about the likes. Don't talk about this stuff. Talk about how you sense it with the likes. Which part's the lie? I'd love to see it. Bottom of darkness. Children raped in ritual ceremonies expose the horrors. Multiple women recount organized abuse, including ritual ceremonies conducted by people they knew, even close family members. After months of interviews with victims, their families, treatment professionals, and experts in Israel and abroad, a disturbing picture emerges with descriptions difficult to read. April 23rd, 2025. I suffered painful sodomy. Truly felt like I was splitting in two. It's a terrible experience, but there's something about these things, perhaps in their strangeness, that's like maybe the hardest component is that if you tell people about these things, they'll think you're crazy. Look what they're doing here. Isn't that weird? Just say they're crazy. Just say they're crazy. They do it to their own children. I remember many types of severe sexual abuse, but there's something about these ritualistic abuses that makes them the bottom of darkness. In direct words and with a clear voice, Imuna, a pseudonym like all the names used, describes the severe abuse she experienced in her childhood. Organized sexual abuse that included ceremonies with supposed religious significance, horrifying ceremonies in which religious people, some from her own family, sacrificed her as an offering for spiritual transcendence or redemption. Imuna is not alone. More than 10 women between the ages of 20 and 45 with whom we spoke describe a severe phenomenon raising serious concerns that in Israel, like many countries around the world, organized sexual abuse of children is occurring right under everyone's nose. Perhaps the world knows that rape exists. Perhaps that incest exists. But this the world does not know, Imuna said. These acts have been kept secret for years, perhaps because of their insanity. It was always very, very strange. As if there was an internal logic, but it was so crazy. Very strange things happen there, normalized in a ritualistic and orderly fashion. There's a specific time. There's when to say this verse and when to say that verse. There's an order as if things are supposed to be done that way, because they are. Right? They are. People aren't interpreting the same religious text incorrectly over and over again in the exact same way, doing the same rituals, singing the same songs, performing all the same sacrifices and all that shit through intuition. They're not all just coming up with it themselves. They all just happen to read the same fucking biblical passages and we're like, oh, this one says to rape children and then say this verse and do this thing. Yeah, that's not how that shit works. It's as if there's an internal logic, as if it's supposed to be done that way, because it is supposed to be done that way. How could people support such a messed up nut? Again, which part am I lying about? He's just babbling on and on. So it's funny because if you ever do happen to come across one of these friars and get into it with them, remember to say things like, oh, you're just yapping. Oh, you're just babbling. You sound like you're schizophrenic. Because these things actually hurt their feelings. Like they're going to flip out. No, I'm not just babbling. I'm not just ranting. Okay? What I'm saying is very important. It's fucking hilarious. But again, am I lying here or is the article lying? Please enlighten us there, you piece of shit friar. I'd love to hear your rationale here. People need to understand this shit happened to him. He probably has wounded genitals. Thankfully, he's not a female. This article is mainly about females, but it does mention that it happens to boys too. But what they do to the females, so like how we all hate that the Muslims engage in female genital mutilation. The fact that they do it, nobody even knows, but they do. That's what this article is about. 5 of the 10 women had female genital mutilation done to them. Female circumcision. What do you think female circumcision is? They just tightening up things. They just making it look nicer. The little fucking 3-year-old girls that they're doing this to. You can't call a kid these things. See what I mean? Look at this shit. So you want to get in a big boy conversation, but then as soon as it comes down to, validate what's being said or invalidate what's being said, now you start crying like a baby. Oh, haven't you been an adult for like fucking 3 years now? The one that's pretending to be 16? Because that's fucking normal. I pretend to be a kid. Again, an adult. He's been an adult since he was 13. Of course, the only way that they're actually adults is that they can be raped by other adults now. They can't drive. They don't have they don't vote. None of that shit. It just makes it legal for them to be raped. Each woman we interviewed during our investigation has a different life story. They come from different areas of the country, from north to south. Each is at a different place in her life. Some are students, others work and manage careers and family lives. These women did not know each other previously, grew up in different communities, and come from different sectors and religious streams. Yet, the ritual abuse stories they describe are similar in ways that compel us to listen and not turn a blind eye. Some were harmed in early childhood education settings or in girls' schools, others in their family homes, yeshivas, or synagogues. In this article, we present only a very small sample from many hours of interviews and information, and some descriptions that are difficult to read. Victim, sacrifice, punishment, correction, transcendence, redemption. These are reoccurring concepts in the testimonies, the prayers, the mutterings, the ecstasy surrounding the victims, the extreme pain, humiliation, and torture, the crushing of personality and soul, testimony after testimony after testimony. They actually threw 3 in there. For women who experienced organized childhood abuse that included group rape performed within ceremonial and ritual frameworks. We met these women over the past few months. We spoke with family members and some victims and treatment professionals with experts in Israel and abroad specializing in trauma and disassociation. The picture emerging from all gathered information is disturbing and difficult. It requires at minimum a deep and meaningful investigation. It is a religious national mission to expose it. Most women we interviewed come from religious Zionist or ultra-Orthodox communities, although Shishibat received additional testimonies about similar cases in secular society, meaning it's happening all over Israel. There's not this only happens with the Hasidiotics or whatever. This is happening with all of them because it's written into their fucking Mishnah Nadah. That's why it's happening everywhere. That's Naomi Elkins. The Naomi Elkins story needs to be fucking looked into. You know, I want to know if she's even in prison. I don't think she is. Or in the mental institution. Matter of fact, she's not. She was doing real estate deals after she was supposed to already be in prison. Therefore, it's important to emphasize that these findings don't target any specific sector, but rather direct a beam of light towards the suspected crimes of the most severe kind imaginable. Several rabbis' names appeared repeatedly in some testimonies. Multiple complaints filed at different police stations around the country were all closed relatively quickly. Even when suspicions arose around a network harming children in Jerusalem, police investigators at best lacked sufficient tools or knowledge to properly investigate. Aww. Israel doesn't have enough money to investigate these crimes. Go figure. What the fuck? Oh, even when suspicions previously arose about a network harming kids in Jerusalem. Fuck, now it's gonna do the thing, isn't it? Fuck. It'll just keep kicking you out. It's so crazy how hard it is to read this article. Even when suspicions arose around a network. Oh, wait. Several rabbis, multiple complaints filed in different police stations. Even when suspicions arose around a previous network harming children in Jerusalem. Oh, yeah. In that case, extensively exposed in 2019 on the TV program The Source, suspicions arose about a pedophile network that harmed dozens of children in the Nahalat neighborhood. Investigators tended to dismiss it as an invention, an exaggeration, or a panic by parents and treatment professionals, and closed the case with almost no relevant indictments. A man named Benjamin Satz was convicted and sentenced in 2013 to imprisonment. For how long, we don't know. For committing indecent acts and sodomy against girls and boys ages 5 to 8. Another suspect was acquitted due to reasonable doubt. In practice, dozens of children remain traumatized and require years of emotional therapy. I remember a pentagram on the floor, usually in red. When the ceremony was in the forest, the pentagram was marked with a hoe and surrounded by lit candles in a circle. The rabbi would blessed who released the bound. Men around prayed with prayer shawls, sometimes dressed in black, while the rabbi wore a white robe. There were several men and boys around the ages of 16 and 17 who participated in ceremonies for spiritual transcendence. There was one time where they asked me to dig a hole and lie in it. Other times they injected me with something and said, "Now you'll feel better," after which my body went limp. They would repeatedly read psalms like a Psalm of David, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." They told me, "You are special, you are chosen." They would insert, I remember, palm branch, Hanukkah candles, a shofar. Lemura grew up in an ultra-Orthodox home. Her father, she says, always acted violently towards her and her mother. Throughout the years, she required medical treatment at a hospital and was accompanied by a professional due to the injuries caused by the violent abuse she experienced. According to her testimony, her father was the one who brought her to these ceremonies. Being delivered by a family member is characteristic of many testimonies we gathered. Lemura said sometimes the ceremony took place in a forest, other times in a secluded apartment. There were instances when she witnessed and heard other children being abused. Testimonies regarding additional child victims repeats across many cases. In many testimonies we documented, women also participate in the ceremonies and the abuse. Organized rape of children is one of the most horrifying phenomena I encounter, and I mean, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. The abusers are not typically outsiders in the community, one patient told me. Understand, he's the one that blows the shofar in Rosh Hashanah. The shofar symbolizes a channel. The person who is most spiritually worthy blows the shofar because he is closest to God. And he's the one telling her she is evil and that he is helping with her atonement in this lifetime. Beyond the women professionals, the content emerging from these accounts shows remarkable similarities. From all gathered information, it appears in most cases the sexual abuse began in very early childhood at home. Mishnah Nada. Perpetuated by a father, grandfather, or other family members. In other cases, the abuse occurred in educational settings or therapeutic settings. Again, you can read this for yourself. I'm done. It's the worst of the worst, and it's the evidence. Like, notice how they shut the fuck up, right? What are they going to say? It probably brought back horrible flashbacks for them. And the fact that you could experience this yourself and know about this and not want to prevent it in other children, it just shows you how psychotic these people are. Anyway, you have yourself a great day. Link to that story, link to Hollywoodism, link to everything you could possibly need to know is in the description. Along with the link to the website where you get the free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. Free to download, free to listen to. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. You click download. Say how much you want to pay. You click 0 and it's free. All we ask is that you share it with someone and help out, man. Like, share, sub. Have yourself a wonderful day. And you pedophiles, you kill yourselves. Okay. Wait for it. Okay.